Hello, I'm Alex Douglas, and welcome to my 10-minute field video. This is me, Alex. On a little holiday we went on over New Year's with my family. This is me stood up the top of a hill in Malaga. It was pretty nice. Enough of that. I'm a London-born product designer, and I've got a keen interest in the technical side of product design. Outside of product design, I'm a cyclist, aviation geek, and a bedroom DJ. My field projects this year have been the W2W Greyfox and Perch Student Design Competition, and I also took part in the DS Smith 24-hour live project. And my minor project was an industrial design brief looking at what makes a product timeless. W2W, Greyfox and Perch are three Irish design firms who specialise in interior and change management, creating innovative products and human-centric product design respectively. The brief set was to design furniture that fits within the circular economy and improves natural human interactions in the work/learn environment. For those that don't know what the circular economy is, it's about the continued use of materials and reduction in waste in society. I'm not going to bore you with the boring research side of the project, as this can all be found in detail in my design booklet, but I will highlight how I read BS 8300-1 and BS 8300-2, which are the design of an accessible and inclusive built environment for an external environment and internal. This research was crucial for our design process, as it gave us some fantastic research that we were able to apply to the design of the desk. I know that people work in very different ways, even if they're able and even if they're disabled, so we wanted to get a better understanding of the position that people might want to have their equipment on the desk, for example, where they'd have their notebook when writing or when they have their laptop when they're typing. We also used this opportunity to work out how wide they would be where they have their elbows, so that we get a better understanding of the width and depth that the desk would have to be. We also needed to know how people would sit at our desk. Since everyone sits a little differently, it was important to understand the affordances we'd need to apply. When we were designing, we used geometric shapes as the source of inspiration. We found over time that the hexagon lent itself towards the project due to its versatility. We used CAD and sketching simultaneously so we could get the dimensions for the desk surface locked down. We applied anthropometric data for wheelchair users and for people with dwarfism to the design of the desk. We also spent a lot of time on the design of the legs and mechanism to make them elegant and easy to use. We collected all the items one might find themselves taking to work with them, and we placed them on the desk, for example the laptop, notepad, phone, wallet, lunch, and we spent an hour each sat at this desk just doing the work for the project so that we could get a better understanding of how it works, the space we need, the things that we might get up to on there. It was just a really good bit of testing that we did. We used CAD extensively during this process because both Jamie and I are quite good at both Fusion and SolidWorks. Some would say that Jamie is a bit of a wizard with Keyshot. I certainly learned a lot from him, and I applied a lot of what he taught me to my major and my minor projects. And it was really interesting to see the versatility of the software throughout this process. We named our desk Float due to the elegance of the design and how the tabletop would float above the ground. We wanted our desk to be so that 6 members of the same team could sit around the same table and work together without any discrimination. One of the key design points we had from the beginning was that we wanted the desk to blend seamlessly together, as that was one of the key points of research we found with disabled people, was that they didn't like having different desks to everyone else. I really enjoyed working on this brief. I really enjoyed working with Jamie and Toby most of all, because they're two really good friends of mine and we made a really good product. They brought out the strengths in me and I brought the strengths out in them, and together we made a fantastic team. Moving on to my 24-hour live project. DS Smith are one of the largest companies in the world that no one has ever heard of. Well, at least that's what they like to say. Mostly because they don't label any of their product with their own branding. DS Smith are located here in South Wales, and it was a real opportunity to work with them. DS Smith are one of the world's largest manufacturers of cardboard food packaging and store displays, choosing to cover the cardboard packaging in the product's branding rather than DS Smith's branding. We had 24 hours, well more like 20 it turned out to be, to design a cardboard recycling system which could be implemented in cities across the UK. Our solution focused on using local small stores, cafes, possibly even restaurants, as recycling hubs for the local community. The stores would receive boxes from consumers, where they would then count the amount of boxes handed over. The boxes would account for different amounts of reward points for the consumer. 1 point for a small box, 2 points for a medium box, and 3 points for a large box. The boxes could come from anywhere. They didn't have to be cardboard packaging that had come from DS Smith originally, it could be absolutely anything. These points would be added to the person's account via a QR code on their phone. The store employee would then place these boxes into a DS Smith bin out the back to be collected at a later date. All the consumer would have to do is pre-register with the DS Smith reward scheme and drop off all their recyclable card at their local collection point to earn points. Existing DS Smith lorries would collect the card from the collection points, weigh it using the built-in scales in the lorries, and this would account to the amount of money that would then go to the stores. You, in this instance, is DS Smith, who would pay the stores for the amount of card they've supplied monthly, which is roughly £90 per tonne. They would also have to provide the bins for the stores and would also have to fund the reward scheme for consumers. My minor project was an industrial design brief which looked at making a product timeless and applying this to a record player. My brief was to design a record player that could be classed as a timeless piece of design and is of high quality in design and sound. I only found the need for a new design later on in the design process. Currently, consumers can only buy record players in a couple of variations. I wanted to create a fully customizable record player which could be designed to fit the user's home, style or preferences. I really rediscovered my love of sketching during this project, having drawn over 250 different designs, and I really it was just peaceful. I developed the two concepts seen in the middle into further concepts. I then could take this into more concepts which could be then further redefined into a final concept. I used a poll on one of my Instagram design stories to select my final concept seen on the bottom left. I spent a lot of time on Keyshot, experimenting with materials for the product, settling on natural woods and stone as nature in itself is timeless and doesn't go out of fashion. Critical to me in this brief. I picked up on a lot of the skills that I learned during my W2W brief with Jamie and his fantastic skills, and I applied this to this project. I really enjoyed discovering the materiality of the project and how I could make it customizable. A lot of engineering went into reducing the vibrations each component of the turntable would produce and receive. Suspended sub-chassis kept vibration transfer limited. Meanwhile, vibration isolating rubber further dampened this, and a frictionless magnetic platter bearing ensured the vibration of the record would be negligible. Other key features were a purpose-built motor axle which would allow the platter to rotate at exactly 33.5 or 45 RPM. An optical sensor measured the platter's rotation to illuminate an LED on the control panel once the platter was up to speed. The replaceable arm board would allow the owner to upgrade their tone arm easily to a different model should they want to. I really enjoyed making these exploded diagrams. You can see the magnetic platter bearing I spoke about on the right. This part of the design process is crucial to making the project feasible, but also being able to get it to manufacture and to market. I spent a lot of time getting accurate costings, material choices and suppliers so that I could present a completed project with suppliers sourced from Treforest and Cardiff. My average costing of parts was around £1,300 because there was a choice of quality materials such as Meranti and oak woods, Verde Laponia and lilac Milas stones. An estimated RRP of the product was justified due to the material selection at around £2,200. As well as this, there are currently turntables available for much more. For example, the Lynn Sondek LP12 turntable is available brand new for £12,000. As you can see, the turntable can be designed by the consumer to fit their home style and preferences so perfectly that in this image you'd think the home was designed around the table. I created these animations to better demonstrate what the product would look like in real life and how it would work. Thank you for listening to me today. I've been Alex Douglas, and if you have any questions, please feel free to get in touch with me at any of the links below.